Hi guys. First off, I want to ask you guys what you guys think about the sound. Would you rather me sound like this or the microphone, which I will have for the duration of this video? Let me know in the comments. If you are new, me and my husband are working on paying off our mortgage in less than 5 years. We closed on this house in September of 2020, and we are on track to pay off our house by July 25th of 2025. Yes, I know my hair looks a little unusual. Just ignore that, okay? I braided it last night, and then I put some rods in it, took them out, and now I'm looking like a grandma. But that's okay, because that's not what this video is about. Anyway, I love tracking everything that we're doing with the mortgage, like the mortgage payments and everything like that, and just seeing how much is going to interest, how much is going to principal, and then also over the years how much has been going to each. I just use, like, if you guys have a MacBook or a Mac, with Apple, they have Apple Numbers, which is very similar to Microsoft Excel. It's more of like a basic version. I just use it to track everything, all the payments that we've made with our mortgage. If you don't know what an amortization schedule is, that's basically your mortgage company, or honestly, I believe with any loan, they have an amortization, which just is the schedule for how they are calculating how much interest that you're going to pay each month, each year, how much would go to interest, how much would go to principal. With mortgages, typically it is preset for you based off if you pay the minimum payment. So this is something that you don't need from your lender per se. There's calculators out there that'll calculate your amortization for your specific loan. One that is pretty easy is calculator.net. They have like every calculator imaginable and an amortization calculator. I can't recall if I got my amortization calculator from calculator.net or just from our lender. So here on the right, this is our amortization for our specific loan. Our balance began at $254,000. If you missed that video, we did buy this house for $317,000. We put 20% down, which came to about $63,000. We saved for that over the course of 18 months after we finished paying off all of our consumer debt. We put that momentum right into saving for a down payment. But we were a little bit more lenient just because we had worked so hard. We didn't want it to be so intense like it was with paying off debt. So this amortization here is showing if we had paid the minimum every single month, this shows exactly where we would be as far as how much would go to interest, how much would go to principal throughout the entire loan. So if I just highlight this column here, all right, bottom left-hand corner here, it says sum. So since I've highlighted every single amount of interest here, it lets me know the sum that I would have to pay would be $131,523. That is just an interest if I had paid the minimum throughout the 30 years. I will also, for funsies, let's see where our balance is supposed to be at if we had paid the minimum right up until this point. So August, September. Okay, we had just paid September's payment here within the last few days. So this says by the end of September, the beginning balance would have been $232,878. And the ending balance here would have been at $232,389. $582 would have gone to interest. $489 would have gone to principal. That is so crazy because right now, as I am sitting here, our balance is at $51,955. This month, the amount that went to interest was $134. Now, focusing on our mortgage payment schedule, which is here on the left side, I didn't really start doing this payment schedule until maybe like a couple of years ago. I just kind of synced everything in from our mortgage website and then started tracking it from there. This starts from the very beginning, y'all. Our first payment was due November 1st. And from then, we made the minimum the first time. And here's the thing also about our loan. We built our house. The idea with the mortgage that we got, which was the Builders Mortgage Associate or mortgage company, the idea is that you would plan for your mortgage to be sold within like a month or two of closing. That's just how they work. They don't operate for long term. They operate to pay your loan, help you, make it an easier process, give you like some type of incentives that they gave, and then ultimately sell it after that. And so by the time, let's see, our first payment was due November 1st, by December 1st, another company had acquired our loan. And so a couple of payments that I had made were paid to the other company, but the first two payments we did make to the mortgage, our original mortgage company. It was due by November 1st. Like I said, October 26th, we made that first payment. And then for the November 1st due date, it matches up here with the original amount that I had paid. So, Minimum payment principal $436.14, and then interest went to $635.07. So the first year, which really consisted of about 3 full months, the first year we had paid a total of $1,900 in interest to the mortgage company. However, one thing that was in our closing docs was, and if you don't know, most likely I'm assuming this is the case for everyone. One thing that was in our closing docs, it showed us that some of our closing cost was some of the interest that we had to pay. So we closed September 17th, and in our closing fees was the interest from September 17th through October 1st, and it was like $300 and something dollars. So technically, the interest we paid was a little bit more here than this $1,900, but that is excluding the closing costs that most people don't think about. Here with this 5 cents, what that is let me know if you guys are also like this. But when I have to start paying a large bill to a new company and I'm not familiar with your site, I'm not sure if everything's going to go through. This also could be just me having anxiety. I need to send a very small payment so I know for sure that we are all set and you got my money, right? Like, I don't want to play with you and send you my full $1,100 payment and you're talking about you didn't get it. So I sent that 5 cent first and I'm like, did y'all get that? And when they got that, I'm like, okay, now it's okay for me to send you the rest of the money that I owe you. I want to make sure. So that's what that little 5 cent was. After they received it and everything was all good, then the following week I sent my actual payment that was due by January 1st, but let's say I paid $1,100, I just rounded up. So 1070-ish was what was due, rounded up to that nearest $100. And then the next year, guys, you're going to see 2021. That's when it all began, guys. That's when we started paying the real extra big payments. January 5th, I was paying the payment that was due by February 1st. Like, whenever we get paid, as soon as we get paid the first time, I'm paying the amount that's due. Like, I'm paying our bills the first paycheck. That's the first thing I do before we pay any extra or anything like that. I need to put the money aside for our actual bills or pay our actual bills. So first paycheck that we got in January would have been around the 5th, most likely. And so I went ahead and paid that payment that was due by February 1st. So that's what this was. And then we got paid there shortly later. And I paid an extra $2,500 on top of our minimum. Just so beautiful. Paying extra principal payments, putting a nice big chunk to that mortgage. Really crazy seeing how things just change with the interest and how where we were then in comparison to today, and just not getting overwhelmed when you have like a big goal. Like, obviously we started out with $250,000 on a loan. I understand that some people's mortgages are much more than that, some are much less, but for us it's like there was no reason for us to be overwhelmed. We knew what our ultimate goal was, which starting out, our goal was to pay it off in 10 years. So obviously 10 years, that's a long time. You know, we knew that we were just taking it slow and we were really lenient. It was like, okay, we had just taken 3 years to pay off $100,000 in debt. This is 250. So I'm like, if we double it, that's 6 years, then another 50,000. So if you half that, that'd be like a year and a half, which gives us like 7.5 years. But I also, like I said, wanted to be very lenient with it. I don't want us to have to be very intense and like, be too aggressive. So I was just like, let's just be lenient and give it like 10 years, which would have been 2030. But you'll see something change with our schedule here, and you'll see why we readjusted this ultimate goal. So one thing that we were also doing in the first part of January, or in the first part of 2021, was we were saving up to buy our SUV because we want to live true to the name. We don't want to get back into debt, even if that's a car payment. We have no plans to do that. We wanted to buy an SUV because I had just had our second child. We had a hatchback and a sedan, and it was a little tight. We wanted to be more comfortable in the vehicle. At first, our plan was to have 3 cars, which seems excessive, but I really, really loved the hatchback that I had. I miss it. I ended up selling it in order to get money to put towards the cost of this SUV. I sold it for $10,000. We saved up $7,000, put those two together, and got our beautiful SUV that we still have right now. So the first half of 2021, saving to pay for a SUV in cash. And so we were putting money towards the mortgage as well, but technically we could have been putting more if we weren't saving. What you can see here is that we weren't paying like a whole lot extra towards it, especially in comparison to what we're doing right now. But then in July, after we bought the vehicle, and we no longer was saving towards that vehicle, we kicked it into overdrive. July, I'm also going to say that's most likely was a 3 paycheck month, so we had a little bit extra to work with. Looks like extra principal in July was at least $4,000. Pretty much on average by the end of 2021 or the second half, we were paying like 4,000, 5,000 a month. It really just depended. But ultimately, after doing that and saying, like, wow, we paid a lot of money, a lot of different months, if we could keep doing this, how soon could we pay off our mortgage? And so I ran our numbers in a mortgage payoff calculator. What I came up with was like 5 years. Like if we could really do it and like hustle, and then also 3 paycheck months, which if you don't know, if you budget 3 paycheck months correctly and you get yourself ahead of schedule, like you're paying your bills the ahead of time instead of like that month, you can make it so you are using that third paycheck unbudgeted money to whereas you don't have to pay bills from them and stuff like that. So we use 3 paycheck months to put extra on our mortgage. Like we are on track to pay this mortgage off by July, and we wouldn't be doing that without 3 paycheck months. Like most likely it would be August, which was our original plan. So I'm going to show you here 1900, and I'm going to try to get my calculator here to just show you how we are saving as much as we're saving in interest. So let's put 1900, and then 2021 interest is this column, 7,000. Let's just say 7,000, round to the nearest amount there. 2021 5472, let's just round up to 5,500. That was 2022. That's how much interest repaid. If you notice, it's going down every month a good amount. This is 2023, $3,600. Let's just round up to 3,700, which we're at 18,000 before 2024. Now with going into this year, obviously it's still 2024. So I put some estimates here going into 2025 and the rest of this year. How I'm doing that is the average that our interest goes down each month. It's about $10 to $11. So like looking at 2024 so far, you'll see we started this year paying $228 in interest, 218, 207, 196, 185, 169. That was after the 3 paycheck month. So after 3 paycheck months, it goes down a little bit more because we're paying a significant amount more. It goes down by like at least $15 or $16. And so here in September, we just paid $134.81. I haven't even put in September's payment yet. And we paid $2,000. This section is for principal. Let me calculate and see how much that is. 2,000 minus 134.81 equals, and I'm gonna have to check on that because I think that's the exact amount, $1,865.19. And then it's made, we're at 51,955. And I want to say it's 74, but I'm gonna have to check on that. I don't remember the exact change. Anyway, so the plan is if I keep going down by $11ish, which to repeat, I'm just estimating this is what interest is looking like for October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, which is payoff. The last month, we were expecting our balance like on July 1st to be probably like 4,600, something around there, $4,600. So just an estimate. However, so far with our running tally on January 1st, 2024, we have paid $18,600. Let me add this up again. So at the $18,000, if I tally up all of these interest charges, this is going to be starting January 1st until the remainder until we pay it off. That is about $2,300, 2,300, and we'll just say 2,350. There's a total of $20,450 paid in interest in less than 5 years. And then the original, again, being $131,523. Subtract that and just see how much that is. 131,523 would leave us with $111,000. It's funny because 100,000 ish happens to be like our number. Like we paid off $100,000 in debt, and now we're saving $100,000 in interest by paying off our mortgage early. It's getting real. It's early September right now, so technically we have a little bit more than 10 months until estimated payoff. It's crazy. It doesn't seem real. I feel like I have a little bit of imposter syndrome when I think about us having a paid off house. Like, I'm about to turn 29 next month, so I will be 29 with a paid off house with no plans of getting another mortgage. I have a little bit of imposter syndrome, especially when people will project their own financial insecurities onto you and say, oh, congrats. There's some people who can't even afford to get a mortgage, let alone this, that. What does that have to do with me? Like, I totally get it. It's unfortunate that people can't afford a house if they're actually referring to their own situation, where people are complaining about, I can't afford groceries, but then these are the same people who went to the Beyonce concert twice in 1 year. But if it's you going through that and like that's truly happening, I definitely feel like I sympathize, and I feel like that's very unfortunate. And I really hope that their situation can change. But don't project your own insecurities. If someone's doing something they're so proud of and they worked really hard, like we worked so hard, don't give them a backhanded compliment and say congrats, but why are you guilting them? Why are you trying to guilt trip other people for trying to better their situation? How is that fair? So again, like, I'm not being insensitive when I say what does it have to do with me, but it's more so a thing of like, we all have our own 24 hours. Like, I'm not rich. I'm not out here like taking private jets everywhere. Like, I'm sitting in my house, like watching TV most of the time, like feeling guilty about getting Tropical Smoothie Cafe 3 times in a week. I'm doing the best I can with what I have. We all have a different 24 hours. Who knows what could be impacting your situation to make you feel like you can't do this, can't do that. And then people also will try to guilt trip you for having a lower interest rate just because I happened to have bought when I bought. When I first visited this site of where they're building these houses, we didn't even know how serious COVID was at the time. Coincidentally, the day that we signed the contract was the day our governor shut down restaurants. Like, it got real at that point. I was still working in the building, like I wasn't even working from home yet. So it's just like people just didn't know what was to come. Anyway, don't guilt trip others. Seriously, you don't know what somebody's been through. But I will say that what's satisfying is just seeing this balance go down. Like, wait, we're at 51,000 right now, 550. So we're almost $40,000 down from the beginning of the year. That's crazy. That's funny to me when we were like, oh, you guys must be rich. You guys must make a ton of money. But in actuality, you are not. Like, there's some people, me and my husband bring home less than $3,500 every 2 weeks from our job. Less than. And there's some people who don't even need two incomes to do that. Like, some people are making $3,500 by themselves. And yes, we do get paid. I do get paid from TikTok videos that I make. For the first time in August, I made $600. Before that, I never made more than like $100 and something a month. So obviously that stuff's not really going toward our success. That's just started because people always find a reason as to why you're able to do something. Oh, you did it because of this. Oh, you did it because of that. Oh, you make money online. Oh, you make money from social media. No, I sure don't. Not really. It's actually because our expenses are low. Like, truly, that's what it's really about. We don't have debt. We don't have student loans. We don't have car loans. Our expenses are low. And we just are okay with saying, okay, let's take this $200, $250, $300 every 2 weeks, and let's spend this. Everything else needs to go towards something else. We've had a lot of medical expenses over the past few months, and the mortgage and the bills. And we're not depriving ourselves of going without, because, like I said, I got Tropical Smoothie Cafe 3 times in 1 week, and it was delicious. And I was out in the beautiful sun looking at the beautiful clouds and enjoying myself. And I'm like, this is amazing. People who have kids, you're not doing a whole lot of traveling this world with these kids, especially when you have no village like we don't. We would not be out traveling the world even if we weren't paying off our mortgage, because our kids are going to have a meltdown 5 minutes into the car ride. No, thank you. I'll stay at home and have them do their tantrums in their rooms instead of in public. Please. That for 200, please. So yeah, it is nice. It feels like our hard work is really like we're gonna really reap the benefits of what we've sown very, very soon. And just knowing that we're so close to not having to shell out so much, even though it's been a lifestyle for a very long time, we're going to start just putting the money in the bank. Like we told you last time, we want to save for a patio like right away, honestly. So putting money towards that. And I'm really hoping and speaking it into existence that I will be able to have money coming in from other sources, like in abundance, by the time we pay off this house. So yes, I want to go part-time, by the time we pay off this house, and I plan to cut my hours in half, but I'm really believing that I will be able to supplement my income in other ways, whether that be from this book that I'm writing, or if I can finally get monetized on YouTube and start making money from that, more money from content creation in other ways. Like, I know a lot of people want to talk about like brands, but I'm really not waiting on brands for that. I want to do things that I created, monetize off of things that I create, because that's what I enjoy doing, the stuff that I talk about on here. So really hoping and believing that by the time that time comes, yes, I'll have money to supplement the income, the half of the income that is going to be gone, but also overflowing, like more than that. That is my yap session for the day, to be honest with you. Tell me what you guys think. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Comment and let me know. I'm not talking to myself here. And I will see you later. Bye bye.